Hello, welcome to Universities UK Innovation and Growth webcast. My name is Greg Wade.
And I'm Kevin Richardson at the Higher Education Funding Council for England.
And the topic of this webcast is just a short catch-up on the general issues around devolution.
Yeah, it's been a little while since we've updated on devolution.
Yes, and it's quite a rapidly moving landscape.
Yeah, very much so. And I think when we look at devolution, it's emerging as one of three important themes in the current parliamentary term,
Yes.
with austerity,
Yeah.
public sector and public service reform, and devolution. I think all those three are tied together.
Yeah.
And on the devolution side, as we've said in previous webcasts, Greg, it will have different implications for different universities in different parts of England. And I think it's about understanding where your particular university is and how it fits into the local context.
So I think the question I have is, what can we expect in the immediate short term?
Well, now that the devolution bill is on the statute books, we're beginning to see some more movement. The first thing that the government will do, I think, will actually formalise the existing devolution deals which have been agreed only in principle. Now, those will need parliamentary orders tabled in both the House of Commons and the House of Lords through what's known as the affirmative vote procedure.
Yeah.
Don't ask me, it's technical, it doesn't really matter, but they will go through. We've got the budget coming forward. I think we're likely to see some further devolution deals announced.
Yeah.
I'm personally not envisaging a large number because the clause which was added at the very last moment in the parliamentary process, allowing district councils to join their neighbouring combined authority without their approval of their county council,
Yeah.
and vice versa, has meant in some places that the devolution discussions in those areas has been knocked off track.
Right.
I think in the budget we may see some further discussions towards the further devolution of some forms of funding, particularly around business support in those areas.
Yeah.
I wouldn't see huge amounts of new funding being added into the existing and potential devolution deals.
Yeah.
We may also see, and it's not part of the Devolution Act, but we also see the beginning of the consultation around the localisation of business rates.
Yes.
Although whilst technically separate, I think will increasingly be seen part of the same debate.
Yes. Naturally.
Although I'm not convinced yet the government will publish those consultation proposals at the budget. It may wait until the summer, but we remain to see.
Yeah. Okay. That's the short term. What about longer term trends, do you see?
Yeah, well, as I said, I think this is an important theme for the government over the course of the parliamentary period. And the bill, I think, is just the latest act in an ongoing process, from the 2009 Act around combined authorities, 2011, the Localism Act, we've got a new one. And whilst they don't envisage new legislation in this parliamentary term, we can see that process rolling forward on an ongoing basis. And I think increasingly the debates will become less about the devolution of cash downwards and more about the transfer of influence and perhaps the bending of funds, which meld national priorities and programmes with local priorities and programmes. Particularly around the adult skills agenda, for instance. I don't see that being as formally devolved, but we will see greater influence at the local level. I also think the next few months devolution debates will be also get at the realm of the whole sort of public service reform agenda. Different agencies working in different ways, rationalising their efforts perhaps. And I think that will be an important feature of the next few months. The issue about potential reforms of boundaries, I think, is very much on the agenda in some parts of England. In other parts of England, where I'm from, perhaps in the north, where they're much more settled. And of course, that will have implications for universities because they may end up in a different LEP area or different combined authority area.
So it's boundaries of both LEPs and combined authorities that you see as potentially flexing?
Well, the government have yet to make any announcements on this particular area, but where you have a combined authority area which is agreed with government, which differs from a LEP area,
Yeah.
and then I think something may give.
Yes, and we've certainly seen some of those, haven't we?
Yeah, I think that may be on the agenda in the months coming ahead. But I don't see huge boundary reform. I think it'll be tidying up in places.
Yeah.
And I think, particularly in the north, the government may be keen to move towards perhaps strengthening the proposals in the Northern Powerhouse area. I've heard the phrase Northern Powerhouse Phase 2
Right.
is under consideration. I think it's too early to think about what that might entail, but I think just that phrase of Phase 2, I think lends weight to the argument that this is an ongoing process.
Yes. And as well as devolution being a key policy priority within that, the Northern Powerhouse is a sort of leading example of
and
devolution.
Where I am in England, every morning in the regional newspapers and the regional TV shows, it is top billing across the north. Perhaps different in different parts of England.
Yeah. Okay, Kevin, that's an excellent catch-up on devolution. Thank you very much.
Okay, and no doubt we'll return to this in future months.
I'm sure we will.